Daniil Medvedev lost to Rafael Nadal in the Australian Open final. Daniil Medvedev has been shut down for his complaints over the Australian Open final crowd. The world number 2 was 2 sets up on Rafael Nadal before the Spaniard stormed back to win a record 21st Grand Slam title. After the match, Medvedev said his childhood dream had died and admitted he would only be playing tennis for himself after being let down by the disrespectful crowd. As the US Open champion and world number 2, Medvedev was the favorite to win the Australian Open in the absence of Novak Djokovic, making it to the final where he went 2 sets up on Nadal, who was playing just his second tournament after a 6-month injury layoff. But the world number 5, who had been staring down the barrel of defeat at 2-3-0 to 40 down in the third set, mounted a comeback from 2 sets down for the first time since Wimbledon 2007. That saw him lift his second Australian Open trophy, 13 years since the first, and make history as the most decorated male singles Grand Slam champion in history. The Russian was gracious in defeat, later admitting he had no regrets about his own tennis, but let rip at the crowd in his post-match press conference. "I'm just talking about few moments where the kid stopped dreaming, and today was one of them," he said, after opening his press conference with a long story about the times his childhood dream died. "Before Rafa serves even in the 5th set, there would be somebody, and I would even be surprised, like one guy screaming, 'Come on, Daniil.' 1,000 people would be like, 'TSSS, TSSS, TSSS. That sound.' Before my serve, I didn't hear it. It's disappointing. It's disrespectful, it's disappointing. I'm not sure after 30 years I'm going to want to play tennis." His compatriot Aslan Karatsev has now responded, admitting it was normal for the crowd to support Nadal, especially in his injury comeback while playing for a record 21st Grand Slam title. "I think for me it's pretty normal," the world number 14 said while competing in Pune last week. Nadal has just made his comeback and didn't play for almost half a year. Of course fans will support him. He's coming back from injury and the same thing happens if you play against Roger Federer. While the Russian admitted it was distracting to face someone who had heavy crowd support, he advised Medvedev to move on from the incident. He continued, "So yeah, I know it can be disturbing when fans try to distract you while serving and all, but I think sooner or later Daniil will realize that and move on. The same thing happened with me, but you cannot do anything like telling the fans, 'Come on, you support me,' that would not make sense." Karatsev faced Andy Murray in the final of last month's Sydney Tennis Classic, the Brits' first final since October 2019, and beat him 6-3, 6-3 to lift the title. The 28-year-old admitted he faced a similar situation at the tournament with the crowd heavily pulling for Murray, but admitted that players like the Big Four had earned the extra support from fans. "Of course fans love the Big Three. I played against Andy Murray in Sydney, all the crowd support was with him. They have done a lot for our sport, so it is obvious.